I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese, Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Chris Vermeulen, his website, thegoldandOilguy.com. Welcome back to the show, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jim.
Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Harvey, they've all had devastating effects in the southern U.S. What do you see playing out in the financials because of this?
Yeah, there's all that devastation. You could probably say we could see something similar to more or less the 08-09 kind of crash. And I think there'll be a big delay on this type of movement, potentially, months or a year from now. But, all that devastation and, houses completely destroyed, vehicles completely destroyed, more or less vehicles have been drowned in the streets. A lot of people, I think, could walk away from that type of debt. If they're not covered under insurance for hurricane coverage, a lot of people are going to have a lot of worthless assets almost that they just don't want to go paying. They can't afford to rebuild, and I think banks could suffer a pretty big blow. I think it'll take a few months for this to really kick in, where people are paying their mortgage payments on homes that aren't there and on vehicles that don't work. And eventually I think people will hit a breaking point. And, we already have seen delinquencies in loans and of loans across the board, commercial, residential, mortgages. This started to rise about a year ago. And this is typically what happens a year or two before a major stock market top. And I think this could be a pretty devastating blow for financial stocks. And, we've already seen, if you look at the insurance sector, insurance companies have been hit pretty hard over the last 2.5, 3 weeks, anticipating the storm to do some damage. And they're going to be on the hook to pay out a lot of money. So this isn't, on the financial sector side of things, this is probably not the prettiest picture, but it's going to be a delayed reaction. I think it's going to take a few monthly payments of people paying for broken goods before they kind of say, you know what, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm not paying for it. I'm walking. And walk away from huge mortgages. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds going forward.
What about the hit to the insurance industry?
Well, yeah, obviously those stocks have been hit pretty hard, and there's going to be a lot of payouts going for the insurance. And there's going to be, obviously, if an insurance company has to pay out millions or billions in claims, it definitely, sucks away from their bottom line. So overall, insurance companies are really going to be taking it on the chin. I'm sure from Hurricane Katrina, I think they really cleaned up their policies and ways to get away with more or less not having to pay out so much. But obviously, there's going to be a lot of insurance claims going forward here, and that's just really going to hurt those companies severely, I think.
The TD Bank is one of the biggest banks in the southern U.S. It's Canadian-owned. But they had shut down all their branches. What kind of an impact is that going to have on their business?
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. But obviously, if you close the door, you're definitely missing out on days or weeks of transactions, and you could be scaring off some clients. But in the grand scheme of things, I think that's a fairly minor hiccup in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, it doesn't help with the whole issue that they still carry potential insurance or mortgages, loans, things like that. So it's another, kind of shot across the bow that they're concerned and they are trying to protect their money. And it just goes to show that, there's weakness in the financials, and it's going to take a while to play out. But I think we're going to see much lower prices in financial stocks.
We'll have more with Chris Vermeulen right after the break.
I'm Bill McWilliam, president of Cascadero Copper, CCD on the TSX Venture Exchange. Cesium is one of the world's rarest metals with a growing industrial demand. Drilling is underway on our Tehran property in Argentina to prove up a cesium resource. Cascadero's patent-pending leach process has the potential to make Cascadero the lowest cost supplier of cesium in the world. Visit our website, cascadero.com, or phone us at 604-924-5504.
Glance Technologies owns and operates Glance Pay, a disruptive mobile payment technology now live in 16 cities in Canada and about to launch in the US. With revenues up 664% in the last quarter, Glance Technologies has the potential to be a worldwide leader in an industry projected to grow to $1.3 trillion in 3 years. Glance Technologies stock symbols are GLNFF in the US and GET in Canada. Find out more at glancepay.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Chris Vermeulen. Chris, what about companies that have rebuilding supplies, lumber suppliers, concrete, shingling, roofing, those kinds of things? Are they going to see an increase in business and perhaps an increase in their stocks?
Oh, for sure. There's going to be, you're watching the shows, the news over the weekend with the hurricane going through, and pretty much a week ago, most of the lumber stores were out of materials, and water was gone, canned foods were gone. It was amazing how quickly things had vanished in Florida, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. So there's going to be a huge demand. There's going to be so much demand, and a lot of people moving up with bringing lumber and materials to Florida to help support this. So it's definitely going to be a big boost for building supplies, and the building sector in the stock market, it's had a very nice rally the last 2 days. It's had a big pop. It's pushed to new highs, and I think there's a lot of volume behind it, so a lot of people are piling in, anticipating a nice boost in building supplies in stores and businesses that are based around that.
Also, what about the auto sector? They think in Houston alone they could have lost up to 1 million vehicles.
Yeah, when you sit back and you look at how many issues and different opportunities and things that are happening because of this, it really is amazing, and it's huge numbers between Texas and Florida. It's devastating, but it also provides huge opportunity. There's pretty much always a yin and yang. You have one good, one almost equal negative. So obviously huge potential for new auto sales. But you look at the other side, where do all these used, broken down cars go? Where does, millions of destroyed homes and materials go to the dumps? The dumps are probably already full, and here it is a day or two after. There's going to be a lot of logistics, a lot going on to get waste out so people can bring in new materials, and it's going to take, I think, years to rebuild some of what's been happening. Obviously, the Caribbean is just devastated, and they're thinking 5-10 years for it to even really, get back to something manageable that the countries are back kind of stable again. And
are they going to think if you're going to rebuild, it has to be a concrete structure that could withstand a storm like this again?
Yeah, well, exactly. I think this is definitely a big learning curve. Anybody who has a brick home is probably thankful, and those who have a stick home are probably going to say, you know what, let's build a solid brick house next time and build in. I think there's going to be a lot of people buying built-in generators, maybe natural gas generators. There's going to be a lot of building built for survival, I think, going forward, because this is a massive wake-up call, how quick and easy it is for Mother Nature to destroy millions of people's lives and homes and life savings, equity in their homes, all that stuff. So, definitely going to be interesting to see how many new homes go up that are going to be solid stone.
Yes, unless you're in an earthquake zone, because stone and brick don't work well because the mortar powders in an earthquake, but concrete with rebar doesn't.
Uh-huh. You know what's also interesting? I've been getting into 3D printing, and it blows my mind what they have going in overseas. They've got giant 3D printers that are more or less the size of a crane, and they're printing homes, complete homes, in a couple days. Walls with the windows, as the window sills get made, they drop in the windows, finish. It is unbelievable what these 3D printers are doing, and they actually can 3D print with different materials, including concrete, which blows my mind. So it's, the future of having a house fully built in a week or two, the whole foundation, everything, put in with a 3D printer is mind-blowing. And I think this could be a big step forward for that type of quick recovery building going forward.
And also using 3D printing, you can design it yourself with parameters put in, make it strong enough to withstand, say, Category 4 hurricane.
Exactly, yeah. You can put it through, with the proper CAD programs, you can put it through all kinds of stress tests, and it really is amazing. So for sure, this is the tipping point, I think, for 3D printing. It's about to go big scale. Usually it's tiny little things you make, fidget spinners, but now it's gone big, and now they're building homes and things like that. It really is cool.
I think this is an opportunity people haven't looked at if they're in the 3D printing business. Where are they making 3D printing houses now?
Well, I was looking at it. It seemed like it was mostly in China, Hong Kong. They were building these homes, and I was watching videos on YouTube of how they were doing this. I think they were doing it somewhere in the States as well, a couple of videos. I just stumbled across it, and I kind of got addicted. I didn't really do a lot of research into it, but I couldn't help but kind of skip from video to video a few times to see these structures in these homes they're making. And, it really blew my mind, because here I am working with a small 3D printer. You can do something 200 millimeters wide or 20 centimeters wide, not very big. And then you see these giant crane 3D printers that are doing walls that are a foot thick of stone, and just almost just like it's a giant glue gun, just laying layer after layer, and the walls go up, and they do time capture screenshots. So you can see this house just kind of go build all the way up, and they drop in the windows, and it really is very interesting.
We'll have more with Chris Vermeulen right after this.
Lotus Ventures Inc. is a BC-based medical marijuana company poised to launch into the rapidly evolving cannabis sector. Lotus is in the final review stage of the Health Canada approvals to become a licensed producer, having arranged facility financing of up to $12 million, plus building permits for its prototype indoor production facility. Shares trade under the symbol J on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Visit our website at lotusventures.ca.
Keep informed. Receive our weekly recap of thought-provoking articles, podcasts, and radio delivered to your inbox for free. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage, HowStreet.com. Welcome back. We're speaking with Chris Vermeulen. Chris, the S&P and NASDAQ set new record highs today. The Dow nearly reached its previous record high. The Russell 2000 small cap index almost near its high that was set a couple of months ago. What does this tell us about the markets?
Well, everyone is piling into equities, and they're more bullish now than ever. You and I have talked about this, I think, in our last talk. I think the music is about to end. Donald Trump got in, and he trumped the market, pardon the pun, and it took off. It was already in a topping phase. He rejuvenated it, and now the market is starting to weaken. We've got even stronger economics or fundamentals behind it, powering that things are coming to an end financially, with delinquencies starting to rise. The whole hurricane thing could really help speed things up for this topping phase to take place in October or early next year. And I think we're coming to an end. Usually, we're multi-year cycles to the upside, and we are due for a major pullback. And, as the equities are pushing higher, we're seeing commodities put in multi-year basing formations, and they're building a base, very strong-looking basis for them to rally. And that's usually what happens near the end of a stock bull market. We see commodities, physical assets start to strengthen, and then we'll see equities start to become more volatile, and things eventually are going to flip direction here, and we're probably going to see commodities start to break out and rally. Gold, silver, miners, all building strong bases, moving up in these levels, getting ready for a major breakout. They're the early warning sign, and they'll probably perform really well while the equities market starts to sell off for potentially a month or two. And depending how bad the selling gets in equities, we could easily see precious metals and gold miners take a hit, but they should hold up and be the safe haven for the first few months while the stock market is under severe pressure.
Would it be better then to hold gold bullion when this is going on, or gold miners going to be a good bet in the, say, mid-future?
Well, the way they pretty much move together. My opinion would be commodities are more gold, silver, and mining stocks. I think it's good to have a little mix of them all. I think they will all perform well going forward here over the next few months, and the stock market may start to get choppy and volatile. Eventually, the stock market will start to have some very big downward moves and drop maybe 10, 15% or so. That's when you need to start looking to get out of potential gold and miners, because when things get ugly and margin calls start and investors need to start drawing money from their accounts, we've seen this before. Gold, silver, and miners crash with the stock market, but they perform very well in the first quarter of a bear market. They rally while the stock market starts to crash. So I think they're firming up here for a nice move to the upside. Longer term, I don't think you want to hold them until we've seen a good chunk of the panic selling, forced margin selling in the stock market. And then I think there'll be a huge opportunity to get back into precious metals, months and months down the road again.
Oil, again, keeps churning around the $48 mark. Is that going to take a plunge if the stock markets go down as well, or will it be a seasonal play?
Yeah, right now, crude oil it's building a multi-year base. I do have an upside target. It's kind of getting pinched between support and resistance. And if it can break out above this $50 per barrel mark, then it's going to go very quickly right up to the 54. And I kind of have a bullish bias on it. I feel as though we're going to see it rally up to 50, 51, maybe take a little pause for a few days, and then continue up to this 54. I think we could see it have a pretty strong move going forward. So 54 is my upside target. Once it hits that level, I feel as though it will probably pull back down into this 50 range and continue to trade sideways in this more or less year-long sideways move that it's been forming.
Chris, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Always a pleasure, Jim. Thanks for having me on the show.
My guest has been Chris Vermeulen. His website, thegoldanoilguy.com. You're listening to HowStreet.com radio. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Our popular YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Questions for the show or our guests can be sent to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.